So, you want to move and work abroad, but afraid it might sabotage your established career? Moving abroad and don't know where to start with your job search? Well, I'm here to help. I've now lived and worked in 4 different countries, so I have a ton of experience when it comes to moving around, finding jobs, acclimating to different ways of life, and thriving in new environments. When it comes to moving abroad, it's really all about being strategic as well as a good amount of perseverance, patience, and most importantly, discipline. I can tell you from experience that working abroad is not only attainable, but it is a useful experience that can change your life, boost your future job prospects, and give you the confidence to tackle so many other things in life. Alright, so there are so many different ways to find a job in today's market. I personally have tried different angles. One way is through finding a job abroad while you're still in your home country. The other way is finding a job in your home country that has international locations, working there for a bit, and then transferring to another country. A third way is taking a leap of faith and traveling to your target country first, and then job hunting on the ground. Yet another option is becoming an entrepreneur and designing your business in a way that allows you to travel and live in different locations. There's also the option of finding a company that allows you to work remotely. Today though, I'm going to be talking about the first option of applying for jobs abroad while you're still in your home country. And we'll also touch upon taking that leap of faith and moving to a country first and then applying for jobs, because I've had an interesting experience where I've had to do both in the same period of time. Okay, firstly, I really want to emphasize how much has changed when it comes to finding work abroad. We live in a world that is so interconnected now, where most people have access to the internet. Especially since COVID, there is more of a willingness for employers abroad to hire people without having met them face to face. And it's become even easier to interface with people through apps like Zoom and Microsoft Teams. I actually found my first job in Dubai while still living in America. At that time, I really wanted to move to Dubai after having visited there while I was studying abroad in Lebanon. I really loved the lifestyle it offered, as well as the cultural opportunities it could afford. And as the hub of the Middle East, it has a great job market that is open to foreigners. Actually, about 80% of Dubai's population is expats, so it's really an expat haven. Definitely a place for you to think about if you're looking to live and work abroad. At that time, I wasn't too sure what exact field I wanted to go into, but I had honed in on my interests of writing, communications, and culture, and was pretty open to trying new things. I had done a couple of internships in the public relations field while I was in school in New York, and I liked the work I did, but I wasn't really married to the idea of having a career in PR. So I was quite flexible on where I might end up, as long as it allowed me to cultivate my initial interests and passions. I first scoured the internet to see what kind of jobs were open for English-speaking entry-level workers. I saw that there actually were quite a number of jobs available in the marketing, PR, and media world, so that gave me some hope. I then made a list of companies that offered these entry-level positions, and instead of applying directly, I searched on LinkedIn to find who I thought the hiring manager for that position might be, which is usually the head of the department, and would then try to find their email address to mail them directly. I find that dealing with the person who is actually the one who needs the position filled instead of HR or a recruiter is the best way to land a job. They know exactly what they're looking for and can understand you and your experience better than a recruiter or an internal HR manager can. So I made an Excel sheet of all these companies, the hiring managers, and their contact information, and made sure I tailored my resume and my cover letters to match what they were looking for. I also researched these hiring managers to see where they went to school, what they might be interested in, any news they might be in, and I made a note of that in the Excel in case I could bring that up in an interview or otherwise. It's always great to be prepared, and even better if you can find something in common with your interviewer, as it gives you some common ground to talk about. While doing that, I also put out feelers with my friends to see if anyone had any connections in Dubai. I was blessed enough to be able to do a study abroad semester in Beirut, Lebanon, while I was studying at NYU, and met a lot of Lebanese as well as international students from all over the world. Because Dubai is the hub of the Middle East, a few of these people I met while in Beirut also ended up moving to Dubai. This proved super useful because it's through this network of friends that I actually found my first job in Dubai. I saw that a US-based company was hiring for positions in Dubai and realized it was a company that a friend from my studies in Lebanon was working in the Beirut office. I instantly messaged her and let her know that this position was open, and she was more than happy to put in a good word for me with the hiring manager for this position. From there, things moved quite quickly and I did a couple of interviews and boom, I landed the job. I remember I was super ecstatic that I was able to find a job even before I graduated college, and that was in the country and city I really wanted to be in. And it was through the power of networking and utilizing the resources around me that I had cultivated through perseverance, consistency, and discipline. So that's another lesson. Don't underestimate the power of your network. Seek those people you may know who may already be working abroad or may have connections abroad. But also don't be afraid to reach out to people you may not know who are working abroad in the countries and fields that you're interested in and starting a conversation on working there. LinkedIn is such a valuable resource when it comes to finding those people. I also did this and got a lot of great job advice on the job market in Dubai, and it really helped in my search. I felt a bit at ease for the last month of school because now I knew I had a job to look forward to after graduation. I then moved to Dubai literally the day after my graduation to start this new life, but it wasn't happily ever after. After 3 months into this new job, they let us know that the Dubai office wasn't doing as well as planned and that they would be shutting this office down. I was a bit panicked at this point because I had moved across the world for this job with no backup and no other source of income, and only 3 months in, I was being told that I no longer had this opportunity. But in the back of my head, because of all the prep work I had already done, I knew I had what it takes to pick up and move on to something better. And as luck would have it, they provided me with 2 months of salary as a severance package. So in essence, I had 2 months to find something else in Dubai or possibly move back home or elsewhere. This is where my past Excel sheet and the hours upon hours of research I had done kicked in. I pulled out that Excel sheet, dusted it off, did more research on companies in Dubai, added to the list, consulted with friends in the PR industry, which is what I decided to focus on, and applied. Like I did before, I didn't go through recruiters or even the HR departments of the companies I applied for, but I sent emails or LinkedIn messages directly to the head of the department of each company. I would do a bit of research on them and pull in any elements I noticed in my research into my cover letter to make it more personal and relatable. Things like if we happen to have gone to the same school, or if they were Lebanese, I'd put in that I studied in Lebanon. Things like this that would make me stand out from the crowd. This method proved super successful, and I landed myself a number of interviews within the first couple weeks of applying, and landed a great new job at a top company in Dubai within a month. I definitely recommend this method because even the companies that I didn't land an interview with, most of them at least got back to me to tell me they were either not hiring or I didn't match what they were looking for. This for me is 1,000 times better than the black hole of sending a CV through some application portal and never hearing back, or going through a recruiter who doesn't have 100% insight into what exactly the hiring situation is at that company at any given moment. So my story on how I landed my first job and second job in Dubai goes along with my motto for anything in life really, which is discipline gives you freedom. This also applies fully to when you're looking for a job. What I mean by discipline gives you freedom is doing hard things you might not want to do to get where you're going, and doing them consistently will eventually get you where you need to go and give you the opportunity to attain your goals, which a lot of the time have to do with freedom. Whether it be financial freedom, spiritual freedom, intellectual freedom, physical freedom. In the case of finding a job or a career that you feel is for you, I think it takes a daily practice of sitting with yourself first, meditating on who you are, meditating on where you want to be, understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, writing them down or at least taking a mental note of them, and then, once you're done looking within yourself, you can then have the aptitude to look outside of yourself and find the things in your outer life that align with your inner self. So when looking for a job, first meditate and think about, okay, who am I and what are my interests? You may love to write, or you may love math, or you may love working with children or animals. Whatever might come in at that time, Then you think about why you love that thing. Well, I love writing because it gives me an outlet to express myself, or tell stories, or to organize disparaging thoughts. Or you love working with children because you see injustices of the world and you want to cultivate the youth of today so that they can be the leaders of tomorrow and change the world order. Or really whatever. This helps you define who you are, and this time gives you the opportunity to be 100% true to yourself. After this daily practice of finding yourself, you're then able to go out into the world and find the opportunities that align with that inner world you've cultivated. This alignment can come from something as simple as Googling what careers work for your specific interests, if you don't already have an idea of how your interests can translate into a career. You like working with children? You can now see that working as a teacher might be something that works for you. You like writing and you know the reason why you like writing? That's great. You see there are positions for journalism, but maybe journalism isn't the kind of writing that you like based on your why. So you think maybe becoming an author is something that would suit your fancy more. Or maybe even public relations, as this field is all about being creative and storytelling. This gives you so much to work with and allows you to fully take charge of your job search and actually find the career that's worthy of you, instead of doing what so many do and just following whatever anyone else is doing, or just applying to whatever is available at the time, and then realizing that this does not align with your passions or your purpose after the fact. Now, of course, if you don't have any experience in the field you go after, you might find after starting the job that you might not like it after all. But at least from doing your prior inner work, you'll know why and how it might not align, and you can then regroup and go after what does align. This is the freedom I talked about before. Be disciplined in the way you go about your life, and you will have more freedom of choice, more freedom of letting the universe guide you to where you need to be, based on how you've decided your inner world to function. This discipline then also extends to then going to apply for the jobs you think you might want to enter into. As I mentioned earlier, write all these thoughts of yours down. Write down your strengths, your weaknesses, write down your whys and your why nots. Then find the careers that align with them. The next step is to find the companies that align with those careers. Do extended research into what companies are the top companies in whichever field you choose to go, or at least the companies you feel align with your specific interests. What do they require of you? What are their missions? Who are the people that work there? Write all of this down. Who are the change makers in the field? What do they do? For each company, who makes the hiring decisions for the positions that would work for you? The more intentional you are about researching these things and categorizing, the more you will get out of applying and the clearer you will be about where you want to go. Then, when you eventually go to interview with these companies, you'll be armed with more information than they will get from the average applicant. You'll know their culture, their people, their mission, and their vision, and you'll know if it aligns with you, and if it does, this will make the process of interviewing much smoother and possibly land you that dream job. But it first takes discipline. So I implore you, when looking for your first job, or any job, take the time to do the research. First the research within, then the research without. Sit with yourself, understand who you are. Then you can understand what you need to do to get where you need to get. Discipline is a tool, a manifesting tool, a tool you use to manifest what you want. You can't manifest without discipline. The discipline to go within and meditate on a consistent basis. The discipline to consistently research and do your homework pertaining to the things that you want in your life. The discipline to forego instant pleasure for delayed gratification. This discipline will get you where you need to go. Alright, I hope you found this super helpful. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you in the next video.